teachers of Reddit, what is the most depressing thing a student has told you about their home life? My students were debating on what hurt the worst when being beaten by their parent. The whole conversation was disturbing to say the least, but one kid won when he mentioned the cord for the television. He even stood up and proved it by removing his shirt and showing the scars. Looked like Django. It went from students laughing to complete silence and then crying. One of my best students in one class showed up late after I had a slew of students rolling in late and I had said there would be consequences for the next ones. I walked over to talk to him and he almost started crying, so we stepped outside and I angled him away from the class and asked what was up. Turns out he had been kicked out of the house, living in his car, his phone had died and that was his alarm. And he felt terrible about being late. I told him that I was so proud of him for making it into class, and I was going to make angry faces and make it look like I was mad so the class didn't think I was going back on my word, but that he was awesome and could take a few minutes to collect himself and join us when he was ready. I think I even waved my arms in the air a bit to ham it up. That dude aced my class. He was amazing. I had a student not come to school for 2 weeks when he finally showed he was limping and his foot was wrapped up in a large dirty ace bandage. I called him to my office after school that day to check in on him. He told me that he had been in the river fishing for his dinner 2 weeks ago and slipped on a rock. He cut his foot so badly that he couldn't walk until today to make it to school. I asked about going to the doctor but he hadn't seen his parents in so long that he didn't know how to get to them for help getting to the hospital. I called CPS, got him help, as much as they could offer. We found out he was living in a tent BC the house had been foreclosed on when his parents disappeared. A bunch of teachers chipped in and got him groceries, clothes, and started driving him places after that. Today, over 2 years later, he's working a job and one of our teachers still clothes and feeds him. The student is too prideful to live with anyone and kind of couch hops now. But he's so strong and resilient. He's an incredible human and I think he will change the world one day. This was a few years ago. This student came into class one day really late and escorted my some official. He threw his bag on the ground and sat in his seat frowning. Turns out, the day before he went home and his foster parents had decided they no longer want him so he went into the care of social services. Everything about this child went downhill from there. I was also in an interview with a mother and her son and she straight up tells us that she's not too concerned about her son as he's not her favorite child. The defeated look on her son's face still tears me up. I am hungry. How much time until the break? Kid who didn't have food at home, I will quit school and become a criminal, because robbing is the only thing I'm good at. Teenager who had a very bad situation at home, edit for some context. I was a teacher at a public school in a poor region in São Paulo, Brazil, and many children had problems at home. Many of them didn't have a father, lived in small houses in the slums, etc. The first child didn't have food at home. All teachers knew about it. His mother had a lot of problems and all his siblings were in the same situation, so every day the most important thing for him was to eat, obviously. The teenager apparently had food, but there was a history of violence in his family and he had already committed crimes and he probably felt empowered by it, because he apparently felt bad and stupid in other activities. I wasn't the regular teacher, I was part of an NGO that offered specific attention to students that were behind the others, so every day I would go to their regular class and pick 6 to 10 of them to have special classes, so at the beginning they felt really bad and other students were calling them stupid. At the end of the program many students wanted to join us and our students felt much more confident in general, so it was great, but obviously we didn't solve the hunger problem and this teenager wasn't convinced that he had a future out of crime. Got a message today about why a student could not come to class yesterday. Sorry I couldn't come to class, there were gunshots right outside my apartment and I thought I was going to die. The police did come eventually and I had to give a statement. I will get the work from yesterday done today. Thanks. Yeah, you get that extension. School counselor here. My second year I had a courageous student who suffered from a rare, debilitating disease. She didn't have many friends because she was never in school and always in hospitals. She loved reading though. She brought books with her to the hospital. Unfortunately due to the disease, Her eyesight was now deteriorating, and she knew she would eventually go blind. She cried in my office that she would miss her books, and didn't want to be alone in the dark. I couldn't help crying with her. She transitioned to audiobooks on her iPod. This was roughly 14 years ago, a time when middle schoolers didn't have smartphones. A year later she passed away. My hope is she's at peace, reading all the books she wants, with O. Taught at an inner-city charter school. Had a bright 6th grade girl who started sleeping during my classes, which was not like her. When I asked after school what was up, she told me that her family, her, 2 younger sisters, and crackhead mom, moved into the homeless shelter, and the last time she slept through the night, all their stuff got stolen. A few weeks ago one of my online kids had a band-aid on her left temple, so I asked what happened. She said my mom was angry with me and threw a pencil and it stuck in my head, with blood. A female university student in China told me her mother tried to sell her for $8 as a baby. I once had a student show up late every day for class in first period. I asked him after class that his tardiness is becoming an issue. He said he is doing the best he can. He has to help raise his younger siblings. He says his dad was an alcoholic and his mom lives in another state. He said he has to help his 3 younger siblings go to school and drop them off because his father is usually passed out drunk. I had a girl playing with something while sitting at the carpet. Rolling it back and forth and putting it in her mouth and taking it out and rolling it around again. I told her to give it to me when the other students started their independent work. She gave me this large green pill. At recess I ask her about it and she says her mom and dad give her and her siblings one of these every night to make them sleep. I take the pill to admin and tell them what she told me before searching Google Images to find out what it could be. I find a short list and go back to admin and I'm told it isn't my job to worry about that. I try several times that day to get answers and they say they think it's melatonin, so stop overstepping my place. This girl and her siblings are in and out of foster care and come to school with no food and filthy clothes. She came to school in a sweatshirt covered in dried blood 3 days in a row. Her parents wouldn't even sign the papers to get the kids the free school lunches. I forged the mom's signature every month. My mom is an English teacher and once told me about a child, 13 male, whose mother had committed suicide a few years ago. In a creative writing task a few years after it happened, the question revolves around finding out a secret. The boy then wrote a descriptive piece about finding a body hanging in his front room lifelessly swinging. Heartbreaking stuff. He had his counselors upped and said he just write it from the heart. Poor guy. I had a 10-year-old crying and wishing she was dead. Her older brothers at home were being awful to her, bullying and hitting her. She was saying I should just let her go so she could kill herself and then she wouldn't be a bother to us or her brothers anymore. Sat her down with the teacher, a cup of tea, some cookies, and talked with her throughout the afternoon. Not much we could do about the brothers, but she left with a smile and came back at school the next day with a smile as well. Now I'm just keeping my eye on her in case things go bad again, but so far so good. Apparently talking to us encouraged her to tell her mother about everything that happened, so at least someone at home also kept an eye out for her. I don't want to give out too many details, but I've had to fill out 4 CPS reports in my 4 years of teaching. 3 for students that either confided in me or had signs that they were being physically abused, and 1 that was sexual abuse from the child's father. It's honestly the worst part of the job, having to hear and see just the awfulness some kids have to go through. A student's mother shows up for the first time in almost a year and she's well dressed and looking like someone straight out of a fashion magazine. Had the latest phone, flashy jewelry, overall expensively dressed. The student on the other hand was always shabbily dressed and once went without a blazer for a week because his parents weren't buying him one. We allowed him to wear his sports jersey in the class, which is normally not allowed, and constantly called the parents to no avail. She showed the slightest possible interest in her child, telling us to make him study however we wanted and even hinted hitting him if he didn't behave. A lot of talking and counseling later, it turned out that the student was actually from a well-to-do family, but the parents didn't get along well. Father went out on business trips for weeks together where he was having multiple affairs and the mother was doing the same at home. It was an open secret. The child acted weird just to get some attention in school which he wasn't getting at home. I really felt for the child. He was 11 at the time. It was my first year teaching and the holidays were approaching. A second grade student asked me why Santa visits everyone else's home, but skips hers. On Christmas Eve, my father and I played Santa. We dropped off gifts at their home for each child, with of course the permission of the legal guardian's parents were in jail. I told a kid I was gonna call his parents because he was acting out in class. His response, "If you find them, let me know where they're at." My mom taught in a very low-income school and every year would go to the dollar store and pick up Christmas presents for all of her students. She knew that many of them didn't get any other gifts for the holiday. She also had stories about how they needed to be careful when constructing standardized tests because there were students who might answer a question like "What do you do when you're hungry?" with "go to bed" or similar things. Not a teacher but a student. I was absent a lot but always handed him an excuse note the next day. One day he came to me with all of them and told me that none of the signatures matched and therefore had to be forged somehow. I told him it was because sometimes my mom was really tired when I get her to sign it. In reality, sometimes she was too high to hold a pen and could barely scratch her name for me. Anyway, by the end of the school year it was very obvious to all my teachers that my mother had a drug problem. And when he took his proof to the office, they informed him that my mother had called in every one of my absences. He apologized the next day. Not a teacher but I remember from high school, I told a friend I was proud of him for his work outside of school. He teared up and thanked me because he hadn't been told someone was proud of him. I imagined that he couldn't remember another time. Also his dad was a real dick to him, so it's possible he'd never been told that before. That hit me right in the feels and I don't think I'll ever forget that. His parents would only give him a pillow and blankets for his bed if he had all A's. I contacted the school counselor and it was true, along with the fact that all of the food was locked away and he was only given specific amounts per day. Per DCFS this was not considered abuse. I made a deal with him that as long as he was doing his best, his grade would never drop below an A. He teared up. I taught a student that had intellectual disabilities. For example, I had a test question that was "Who is the founder of Buddhism?" and the choices were me, the principal, the assistant principal, and the correct answer. He came back from his accommodation room and said I chose you for the last question. And didn't understand why that was bad. Admin had called him in to discuss things with him before and talking to him never led to anything because it was like herding cats. One morning while walking to class he said, "Hey Mr. U/Fungineer, this morning my poppy tried to choke me, threw me on the ground, and took my phone. But don't tell anybody, okay?" I swear it was like a different kid was talking because it was so focused and direct. Luckily CPS and possibly the police got involved. Every week, I'd let students earn raffle tickets which would potentially allow them to choose a prize, such as bringing in a show and tell or picking a prize from my treasure chest. Anyways, one day, a student brings in her favorite doll. This leads all the girls to start talking about their favorite dolls. One student privately tells me that she never had a doll before. This made sense because the child was homeless, wore the same dirty outfit nearly every day, often stole from teachers and classmates because she became adapted to survival of the fittest mode, and her parents were out of the picture. That night I went to Toys R Us right after school. The next week I made sure this girl won a prize and stocked my treasure chest with a brand new teacher and student Barbie set. Well, this child picked the Barbie right away. The most touching part about this story was when she asked if she could show and tell her new Barbie. I said sure. At the beginning of her show and tell she introduced the student Barbie as her name and the teacher Barbie as being my name. I was so touched. I tutor Chinese children online. Some of them get sent to private boarding schools when they hit middle school. Most do 3 to 4 hours of homework a night and have classes Saturday and Sunday. One boy is 11 years old. When I ask what he does for fun, his only response is homework. He doesn't play video games or watch TV or movies. His parents force him to study and read all day, every day. The only time he plays with other children is when they eat lunch or have PE class. I have some other students like this, but they live at home. Some of my kids are taught that the cinema is a waste of time, video games and cartoons are bad and they need to study all weekend to get into a good university. The children can be like zombies. It is difficult sometimes seeing them have no joy. One girl said the highlight of her week was that she didn't get assigned a lot of homework this weekend. I had a girl miss several lessons last term. I was concerned about her progress in class and followed up on the absences. Next time I saw her, we had a wee chat and she said she was really struggling with home stuff. The following day, she appeared very early with a letter and asked me to read it after she left. The letter stated that she was unable to tell her story out loud but she wanted me to know. Her story detailed a difficult home situation. I have redacted the details out of respect for the pupil as I had no idea this would become so popular and well-read. It completely floored me. I had lessons starting in 15 minutes, but I couldn't stop crying. It felt awful that this strong, silent young girl could brave coming to class with the weight of this on her shoulders. So we worked out how to make school feel safer for her. She struggles to be around lots of people and near doorways without a trusted adult nearby. She's terrified that he appears in school to take her. So we spend our break and lunch in my class, playing games and watching silly videos on YouTube. If she has a bad day, I'll walk her to her bus. I make sure she's seated away from the door and nearby a friend or my desk. It's not much but every little bit helps her feel safer. Lots of sad stories. I was one of those students. School nurse saw markings on my back and asked what they were. I told her I got beat at home, which I did for the smallest mistakes when not living with my dad, who often went to rehab. Cop came and checked my whole body for more marks. Then social workers showed up while I was babysat by a nice old couple. Nothing ended up happening, but I definitely got in trouble and received different types of punishment that didn't leave marks on me. 5-year-old girl was crying at the lunch table. I tell her she's going to see her mom soon and it's okay. I don't know her very well at this point. She goes, "My mom's in jail." So I quickly go, "Your dad, then?" And she goes, "He's in jail, too." Her twin sister says, "We live with our grandma." I'm about to cry at this point, so I ask if they need anything. Can I get them anything? They ask for candy. I always carry caramels in my purse because these are safe candies and the kids love them and know I have them. I gave them each a handful of caramels and sat with them until their grandma came an hour later. We colored together. They each saved caramels for their grandma. I'll never forget those two little girls. Had one young man who had strange round markings on his arms I couldn't figure out. Looked little bit like vaccine scars. Figured maybe some scarification thing from his culture I didn't know about. Live in a melting pot country. We had a pretty good relationship, so I asked him. Nope. Cigarette burns from when he was a baby that had grown up with him. I had a teacher in high school who on the first day told us, almost begged us, to talk to him if we need help. He basically told the class that there's at least 5 kids in our class living in poverty and probably more dealing with some kind of awful circumstance. He said that each of our lives is more important than anything he needs to teach from the social studies textbook and doesn't want to see any more kids flunk classes because you're too busy watching your mom making sure she doesn't overdose or going to work after school because your family can't pay the bills. I'll never forget the shock on the classroom's faces because the area I lived in had half the kids driving BMWs to school and the other half waiting in line at the food bank to eat. I remember little from school, but I never forgot that man's words, and luckily I ran into him recently at a restaurant, politely and discreetly thanked him for that lesson, paid for his and his partner's meals discreetly, and will continue to take a little deeper of a look at the people I meet, remembering there's 2 sides to every story. I gave a student a hard time for being absent for a week, and she told me that she had to stay home to take care of her little brothers and sisters because her parents got extra jobs. And this kid was a very honest person. That was sad. Right now I'm super struggling with a student who wants to do well, comes to advisory, gets a bunch done when he comes to class. But he doesn't attend most days, and when he does, his baby sister is on his lap. His mom has a baby last winter and she works 2 jobs. This student also has a near full-time job. It seems like he is the primary caretaker of a 9-month-old. I sent him an application for a year-long daycare scholarship, but I don't know if he can get mom to fill it out. I had a student who would not acknowledge my presence at all. He was absolutely silent, so I guess what depressed me was his lack of engagement until I found out why. I had a boy in my English 10 honors, sophomore level, class several years ago. He was quiet and chose to sit with his back to me every single day. I tried to get him to talk to me a few times, but he was so shy and withdrawn I stopped because I didn't want to make him feel more awkward and uncomfortable than he obviously already did. He was a middle-of-the-road student. When he turned in homework it was often half done. His classwork was sloppy and I usually sensed he wasn't paying attention at all. That year, I had a rough group of classes, student fights breaking out, a girl was beaten up by her boyfriend and almost killed, a very tall male student threatened me and my admin wasn't very supportive, so I was hanging on by the skin of my teeth. I allowed the young man to sit quietly in the back of the class because he wasn't causing any problems. When we got to the essay unit, I was completely gobsmacked by his paper. It was the most well-written and analytical essay I had seen in a long time. I wrote him some sort of encouraging comment and started to pay closer attention to him in a very low-key way. Well, fast forward his junior year, I asked if he would join the school newspaper. I was the advisor. He did, and over the course of the next 2 years, I watched him change and develop into a leader in the class. He came out of his shell and got really involved in the paper, learning how to program and do layouts, etc. When he graduated, he wrote in my yearbook how when he was a sophomore he was being jumped into a gang, and it was my encouragement that gave him the courage to get out of that lifestyle. He joined the Navy and is currently in the PhD program at Duke University. I still talk to him once in a while and he's doing amazing, married and happy. A girl, about 17yo, who had 4 younger siblings. Both of her parents had cancer and weren't able to work. She had a job and pretty much all of her free time went to her job and taking care of her family. She was tired all the time, missed assignment deadlines, etc., but still she participated more actively during class than most other students. An animation student of mine was pitching me her idea of someone dancing, and then running when police came to break it up. When I didn't understand why she started running, the student explained that women dancing in public in her country wasn't allowed. I'm in US, she was from a Middle Eastern country, school is online. I felt incredibly bad for her. At the beginning of the year, I have my students write me letters about their life. This year, a student wrote about her dad committing suicide in July. Last year, I had a student's dad die from COVID. That was really sad. Sometimes, I think my kid has a sad home life, but they're actually not sad about it. Like I had a homeless girl a few years ago that was always positive and joking. Or this year I had a kid tell me that he didn't mind going into foster care because the woman at his house makes bomb quesadillas. I taught a year 7 kid, 11 years old. He once stole a burger. I sat down with him to find out why. Turned out his dad had ran out. His mum was drinking herself into a coma to cope, and the kid had turned to selling drugs to afford food. But hadn't done well that week, so and Joe money for food. Luckily CPS got involved to help the poor kid. Edit, to add Aomi or context, now I have a little time. The kid doing this was a good kid, wanted to be a doctor. He got involved with selling drugs as on his estate there were always some lads hanging around. They knew that his dad had left and that his mum was drinking herself to an early grave. He said they took pity on me and bought me food. Unfortunately, he didn't know this is a tactic gangs use to get you in. About a week or so after it started, they started asking favors for the food. Take this parcel here, hold this parcel for us, don't let anyone know about it, etc. Until eventually he was stood on the street corner selling drugs. Not a teacher, but a student. 2 years ago, I used to sleep a lot in class, didn't participate at all, and my grades got worse every month. One day, my history teacher asked me to talk to him after class because he was worried about me. He asked if I had any problems at home, so I told him how messed up my life was. I told him that my dad is an alcoholic, that he beats the shit out of me once in a while and screams all day and tells me stuff like you'll never be good enough or your life will always be useless and a waste of my time and money. He also used to hit my mom and my little sister, and he's a pretty narcissistic person. Luckily, I didn't talk to my dad for the last 2 years and we pretty much ignore each other. My teacher helped me a lot back then. He insisted to talk to me every week just to check if I'm okay. He helped me to get the youth welfare office and the police involved so someone could keep an eye on my dad. Since then, he didn't hit me and my mom once. He doesn't talk to me at all, and I also started therapy, which really helps coping with his BS. Without my teacher, nothing would have changed. I had a student who was acting out more than usual. I sat down with him privately to figure out what was up. Both his parents were out of his life. I think dad had abandoned him and mom was in prison for the long haul, and he lived with his grandpa. He broke down in tears telling me that his grandpa was really sick and dying. He had an aunt that was trying to figure out if she wanted to take him after grandpa passed, or if he was going into foster care with a stranger. It was so much pressure and stress on a 6th grade boy, and he was just devastated. I have heard a lot of tough things from students in my career, way beyond what my sheltered California girl upbringing could have ever led me to imagine. Kids whose parents have told me they don't want to be raising them, kids who have witnessed the death of a sibling, abuse of many sorts, kids bawling their eyes out about their disabilities, a giant tough guy 5th grader missing his dad's cooking and unsure if/when he'll ever be out of jail to cook for the family again. It's just a lot. It's changed everything about my life, including how I vote. But that one little boy will always stick with me. I wonder often how he's doing. When I was in sex ed class in 7th grade during Q&A time, a girl asked a question, and through that it was discovered she was being sexually assaulted by her dad. He ended up going to jail over it, but you could tell that was a super awkward moment for the teacher considering the whole class found out at the same time. Came back to school after Christmas, one of my girls, 10 years old, told me her mom got arrested on Christmas Eve after she got drunk and high and argued with a neighbor on the street and then pulled out a knife. Girl was then put in foster care for Christmas with no presents or family because it was so last minute. Very sad when she was hearing about everyone else's holidays. I'm a history teacher, and this year I made my first lesson of the whole term for my Y7, ages 11 to 12, classes 1 about timelines. I explained time and chronology, did some little quizzes, made a timeline about a historical figure's life, etc. Then, as a final thing, I asked the students to make their own timeline about their own lives. Lots of them didn't know what to put on there, since they all claimed that not much had happened to them. They aren't wrong, so in my encouraging way I gave some examples of things they could put down. Have any of you got younger brothers or sisters? When were they born? Do you have any pets? When did they join your family? Have you ever moved house? All very valid questions if you ask me, and at the end I would ask kids if they'd like to share anything from their timeline, to which I would make a jokey comment to make things fun. Yes, Leba? I broke my leg when I was 4. Oh really? Was it from swinging on a chair because you love that I can see Charlie? I got a pet tortoise called Tom last year. Wow, vet he can run faster than me. Laura? My mom stopped drinking in 2019. Let's just say I had no response to that one.